Coming up, a Pacifica 18th NRL team gets Australia PM approval. There are some rule tweaks given by the NRL's manager. And have Selwyn Cobbo's ill-advised comments come home to roost. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you enjoy what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. Well, what are we going to do in today's episode? It is more likely going to be made up of stories from the NRL, because first of all, the NRL have confirmed they won't be introducing any new rules for the 2023 season. However, they have tweaked a host of existing ones as the governing body attempt to add more clarification to the game. The NRL's media release on Thursday stated that the changes are designed to enhance the existing laws of the game and interpretations, which have led to a faster, more free-flowing and unpredictable game, adding clarification to a number of grey areas in the game that existed in 2022. When I say Thursday, I mean Thursday Australia time, so about 12 to 13 hours ago. So, 7 rules have been altered or expanded on for the upcoming season, including a reduction of the amount of failed HIAs required to introduce a club's 18th man onto the pitch. So the first rule that they've came up with is in regards to the motion of scoring a try, as in grounding the ball. They said tries will now be awarded if the ball rotates from the hand to the wrist or forearm, provided there is no obvious separation between the ball and the hand or the arm. The new interpretation will allow further clarity for officials when adjudicating grounding. That's more in line with the old rule when you could put it from your fingertips all the way down to your torso with any downward pressure would be given as a try. So we'll have to see how that goes. The second one is the 18th man. An NRL club now require just 2 failed head injury assessments in order to activate their 18th man, compared to the original 3 failed assessments when the rule was introduced. Very easy, very self-explanatory to understand. The next one is a bugbear for a lot of fans, the bunker, as the bunker intervention has been determined as can only intervene on foul play incidents providing it is a reportable offence, i.e. when a referee puts it on report. Now the bunker has the choice to put those sort of decisions into the referee's mind rather than all the basic stuff, lowering the amount of stoppages mid-match, as well as subduing diving in the game. So there could be some questionable calls when it comes to feigning injury. If the bunker determine that they're not really injured, then they will pull that up as well. Next comes the captain's challenge, as there is a little bit of an adjustment to that as well. A captain can now challenge a call during any stoppage of play, as opposed to purely structured restarts as it was in 2022. The NRL have clarified that the captain may make challenges at the end of each half, provided the referee hasn't called half-time or full-time yet. There was a couple of incidents in the NRL last year where the clarification of when time was done, or a referee would call time when the hoot has gone off, so that people can still go ahead and take penalties. I think one game was decided by the not specifying when the challenge was called. A rule change that has migrated from Super League in the World Cup has been offside at the scrum. An attacking team will be awarded a penalty if defending side is offside during a scrum, as opposed to set restart for the infringement previously. There is also 10-meter compliance, where defenders must have both feet behind or in line with the referee when setting their defensive line. Referees will be able to repeatedly penalise defenders without the requirements of the mandatory sin bin. However, the sin bin can still be used if the match officials believe it's been done intentionally. And finally, there will be calls of held release in every single tackle, as the referee will offer first the singular held or release in each completed tackle, as opposed to using them both during the tackle in 2022. The NRL's Chief Executive General Manager has thrown his full weight behind the minor tweaks. While relatively minor, these changes will improve 3 elements of the game: player safety, the game presentation for the fans, and offside compliance, NRL Chief Executive General Manager Graham Annesley said. We undertook a thorough review of the 2022 season, including consultation with the NRL clubs, the Rugby League Players Association, and other stakeholders. The overriding feedback was the current interpretations are creating a faster and more free-flowing game, but there was a need to address some minor issues which have emerged. These changes will allow clubs and players clarity on certain issues, while also giving fans more entertainment and transparency as the game evolves in 2023. Looking at an outside perspective when it comes to these tweaks, I feel that they have actually gone back to more of an entertaining rugby league from before these rules came in. They're toned down from what they were, and it was more strict, more fastidious, finicky is a better word for it, when it comes to the laws of the game. Now that they've turned it down, I think the entertainment factor will be teams playing the game, and a lot more of an even playing field for everyone involved. Next, we return to Brisbane Broncos, as their winger Selwyn Cobbo insisted his comments criticising Kevin Walters' coaching ability were taken out of context, but says he has apologised to the coach after they resurfaced online. In an episode of the Back of the 135 podcast from late October, Cobbo questioned whether the 6-time Premiership winning player was cut out for coaching. His comments came only weeks after the Broncos fell from the top 4 to the bottom 8 on the back of a 1-5 finishing record to Walter's second season in charge. I reckon he's a good person, like a good bloke, but I don't think he's a good coach, Cobbo said of Walters on the podcast. He's not the best coach, he's alright. I feel like he's just a good person. I feel like he's not a coach. The way that he coaches is a bit weird, I guess. His comments are similar to those that ex-Bronco Tyson Gamble, who told the Marshes Corner podcast in August, that halfback Adam Reynolds, rather than Walters, was the side's tactical mastermind, and implied the coach was out of step with the modern game. In a statement released Sunday morning, Cobbo's statement, like Gamble's, he insisted that he was misinterpreted. Today, an article on a podcast, which I did last year, has been taken out of context. It was 2 guys chatting and joking about silly things like comments about Kev that had been made by Tyson. The fact is that Kev is a very good coach, as are all the coaches at the Broncos. I was lucky enough to play Origin for Queensland last year, and that is off the back of coaching of Kev and his team. Kev has taught me a lot since coming into the NRL squad and provided me with great support as I adjusted to the professionalism of NRL. I was late to training a few times, and instead of cutting me, he educated me and supported me. When I felt burnt out late in the year, Kev rested me, and when he thought I was ready, he gave me more responsibilities. I have already contacted Kev to apologise, and I'd like to extend that to his family and the whole Broncos club for this unwarranted attention over some silly comments from me. But unfortunately for Cobbo, more comments from the podcast are being released just days after making the headlines with the criticism of Kevin Walters and his apology. He revealed that he walks out halfway through the Broncos' season-defining NRL match against Parramatta last season because his side was losing badly. The talented winger sat out the vital round 24 clash at Suncorp Stadium because of fatigue and watched on for the first half while his side copped a hiding, eventually losing 53 points to 6. I sat out that game. They make you go to the game, and I left at half time because we were getting flogged, Cobbo said on the podcast. I just sneaked out. It's not known if this coaching staff approved of the style player walking out on his side's defeats during the half-time break. Cobbo was back in the team though the following week when the Broncos took on St George Illawarra, but the side went down 22 points to 12. He did apologise for that incident, but unfortunately there is a lot that has come out from this one podcast. He may have been joking about and maybe taken out of context, but young lad needs to be advised a little bit better. If someone had to stop him from going a bit further, as he's got the contract with the club, he's got to respect the club. That's the coach that he's got to impress at this time. He may apologise, but I'm sure that he will copy a little bit from the fans, club, or the coach due to his ill discipline. That is what it is. Yes, it may be the exuberance of a young man playing rugby league for his career. Sometimes you do need to be pulled aside and told, don't do that. And finally, we turn our attention to comments made from the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, as he has publicly acknowledged Papua New Guinea's passion for the NRL during his visit to the southwestern Pacific nation, from Australia that is, and called for the country to get a team based on its own soil. That is an NRL team. Mr. Albanese used his historic speech to the Papua New Guinea's Parliament on Thursday to reaffirm his support for a Pacific Islander team to one day compete full-time in the NRL, stating Australia and Papua New Guinea have a shared passion for rugby league. The Australian Prime Minister, seen here with his Papua New Guinea counterpart James Marape, said, "Today I affirm my view that I want to see a Papua New Guinea-based Pacific Islander team competing in the National Rugby League competition," he said. "Sport is such a genuine and powerful way to build strong and lasting ties between our peoples at a code and club and community and family level." He later told Australia Broadcasting Radio he would discuss the idea with his Papua New Guinea counterpart James Marape during his visit to the Pacific Island nation. Of course, those links are so important that we have those cultural links and our common interests, Mr. Albanese said. And one of our common interests is, of course, the passion for rugby league. The Prime Minister first threw his support behind the idea of a Pacifica NRL team after meeting with Marape at the Pacific Islands Forum in Fiji back in July last year. It was understood Papua New Guinea would likely join forces with Tonga, Samoa and Cook Islands and Fiji to form a full-time Pacifica squad. The Papua New Guinea Hunters have played in the second-tier Queensland Cup for just under a decade, having won the Premiership in 2017 in that tournament. And the nation has been pushing to join Australia's national competition as its 18th team recently, as the shouts come louder for that sort of franchise to become available. Ever since, the abundance of talent from those islands have skyrocketed to stardom in the NRL. There has also been talks of Perth or possibly another New Zealand-based team to eventually snare the 18th franchise spot in the NRL, which is believed to be available in 2025. The Redcliffe-based Dolphins in Brisbane, to be coached by Wayne Bennett, will be the NRL's 17th team this season. Mr. Albanese and Mr. Marape also met to watch their country's teams compete in the Prime Minister's 13th Rugby League clash at the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane last September. Additionally, the leaders watched the State of Origin in Fiji last year, which Mr. Albanese referenced in his speech to the Papua New Guinea's Parliament on Thursday too. When Prime Minister Marape and I watched State of Origin together in Suva last year, he said there are only 3 days your country stops. Game 1, Game 2 and Game 3, he said to the Papua New Guinea public and the Parliament. That's something I think a lot of Australians can relate to. While I think a Papua New Guinea based side would be fantastic, Port Moresby will be a destination spot for any one in the Southern Hemisphere to go to and have a fantastic time anyway. Australia's NRL introducing a joint venture between the Pacific Islands as one NRL team. I think that dilutes the specialness that Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, whoever, Papua New Guinea all come through, because I know that the other islands won't get a franchise and Papua New Guinea will be out on its own. The idea of an NRL franchise is because one area can get behind it. I know there is like 6 or 7 in the Sydney area. Papua New Guinea though would be mad. They'll go out of their way to support these teams in the millions, in their hundreds of thousands, in their tens of thousands. It doesn't matter. They're rugby league mad. They're rugby mad, should I say. That's to see if they get a franchise, but they will need a decent plan behind it. Costs are everything. I don't think they'll be too bothered with the amount of money that keeps getting added on every time the negotiations for contracts come up with said companies. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, and what your thoughts are on these rules tweaks. If you have a different opinion to mine about how it's more going back to rugby league as it was, more flowing rather than the bunker getting involved every 5 minutes, or do you think it will crop up some issues that we haven't thought of? It's all up for debate at the end of the day, but hey oh, league's a debatable sport. Anyway, what do you think? Should Papua New Guinea have it, or should it be an amalgamation of all the Pacific Islands for the 18th team? man Selwyn Cobbo. Is he in trouble? Have to find out this year. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll end the episode as I always do by wishing you all the very best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.